Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like the video, make sure you share the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So we've gotten some new rumoured details from Zack Snyder's Justice League, which seems to be having extensive reshoots. So there are certain actors that are coming back, and I think this is a move that's going to see this DCEU or this DC universe, whichever way you want to put it, on film in future. I think HBO Max is certainly going to be the way that DC films and TV shows are going to move forward, and I think you're going to see an awful lot of more pieces that have already been used before, and particularly with the Snyder Cut movement gathering the traction with which it did, certainly being used much more often in the future. So the first piece of rumour is Jesse Eisenberg is reportedly after re-signing as Lex Luthor to reappear in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So it's unknown what capacity he'd be working in this movie, but we do have an inkling of what will happen with the individual that has also been linked to being returning later on in this video. So an awful lot of people didn't like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. I am in the minority, I suppose, or the majority, whichever way you want to put it, because obviously AT&T saw fit to actually bring the Snyder Cut forward, so obviously they see some sort of profit and some sort of way forward with this series. I'm a fan of this Lex Luthor. I think he was cold, he was calculating, of course he was manic, but I think that really factored into the character, and potentially I think that there was an untold story going on there, particularly with the mother box, and he was overwhelmed, I think, with the Kryptonian ship. Let's not forget, he also effectively did kill Superman. That is a very successful Lex Luthor. This is not the Lex Luthor that we've seen before. This guy is very successful, and despite the performance which seemed to annoy an awful lot of people, I think, as Zack Snyder had put it, this was going to be a gradual performance to get to the characters that we all know and love. I think from that manic individual, he was going to become that cold and calculating individual. I think that this is further proof of it. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with this guy. Now, Zack Snyder had said that there was supposed to be a breakout scene within his movie between Joe Maganiello's Deathstroke and Lex Luthor, and apparently within that scene with Joe Maganiello, he was supposed to be absolutely unbelievable. So this really brings into account how Lex can orchestrate things, certainly through unbeknownst means, given the fact that he's in what seems to be a high security prison and on his own pretty much in a cell. So I'm excited to see what Jesse Eisenberg brings to this role. I think he had a very good performance the first time round in Batman vs Superman. I'm a big fan of the Snyder movies, and I think he's going to have a good performance here again. The next actor that's been linked with a return to this franchise is Jared Leto's Joker. Now what's interesting is there was no real plans to include this guy in the Justice League the first time round, so this is a bit of interesting news. I think Jared Leto personally has a lot of pride that has been damaged, forgive the pun, with the awful tattoo on his forehead. I do not like the tattoos on this character. I think that design choice was probably the worst choice they could have made. And I think for Jared himself, there's an awful lot of pride with him that he wants to show the Joker that he actually was. We do know through David Ayer, who's been talking extensively on Twitter and on social media about how much of his movie was cut. So I think that also affected Jared Leto, because David Ayer said an awful lot of Jared's stuff was cut. It was very dark, it was very grim. Some of the stuff you've seen in the movie was reshoots. It made the tone lighter, changed Jared's performance significantly. So we would really love to see that Ayer cut, to see the exact performance that Jared Leto gave. All of the stuff that was surrounding Jared Leto at the time was saying how crazy he was, how people were afraid of him. And I don't think we really got to see that full impression of that Joker on screen. I believed when this guy was cast that he was probably going to be the greatest Joker of all time. And I say that as a massive Heath Ledger fan, and subsequently a massive Joaquin Phoenix fan of their Jokers respectively. I liked this Joker personally, but I thought there was way more to it, and I hope that we get to see it in the future, and I hope that he is given the ability to show what he can do. And I think people can only judge from there whether they like it or whether they don't. I would say I hope the design changes up a bit. Personally, I don't like the design of the tattoos on the face. I do like the scarring, and I do like the fact that Batman is after punching his teeth out. I think that that is absolutely wonderful stuff, particularly within this universe, knowing how aggressive Batman is. And I'm certainly looking forward to seeing what happens with this guy on screen when he returns. The biggest one for me though is a character that I'm a massive fan of, and that is Deathstroke. Deathstroke is a really important character to me because it's a character that I grew up with looking at on Teen Titans, and what an adversary he was. He was then portrayed beautifully, in my opinion, by Manu Bennett in the Arrowverse. Now, obviously, they made a change the way Deathstroke looked and the where he was from in the Arrow universe. And whilst I'm not a big fan of those type of things, those type of changes, I certainly think that Manu Bennett did a very good job. Enter Joe Maganiello. This guy is built, and I think that this guy could really face off against Ben Affleck's Batman. I think that that was ultimately the plan. We seen that Ben shot some scenes, or what seemed to be a partial scene, of Deathstroke arriving, and I think Joe Maganiello could do a great performance as Deathstroke. I was very much so let down by the performance of Deathstroke in Titans Season 2. I thought it was absolutely woeful. I think Isai Morales was badly let down by writing. I think the acting around him was very poor. I think the acting was even made even worse then with some of the miscasts that have happened in that show, particularly with Ian Glenn as Bruce Wayne. I think that that is a very big misstep, and I would love to see Joe Maganiello actually cement himself as widely known and basically, in my opinion, the iconic Deathstroke. Now, Deathstroke, aka Slade Wilson, is a very, very formidable foe, particularly for Batman, and I would absolutely love to see this clash. I mean, I'm sure an awful lot of people remember those trailers for Arkham Origins, the video game, and seeing how Batman faced off against Deathstroke and the things that they could do fighting each other, given that Deathstroke is an experienced and highly trained martial artist with actually some superhuman capabilities, whichever way he's written. I think Joe Maganiello is very much so interested in this role, and it seems like he's re-signed on as well too. Now, what does this mean? Well, this means that he could be moving forward in the TV series with Ben Affleck, or he could move forward in his own TV series. We've recently seen that James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie, and particularly Peacemaker, is getting his own TV show. I'm 110% behind Joe Maganiello getting his own show as Deathstroke. I'm actually surprised Peacemaker got one before Deathstroke. This is a character that DC need to use and exploit as much as they can. This guy is super interesting, and he has many different avenues that they can go down. And this guy, I think, Joe Maganiello, is very interested in this role, and I think he could populate himself in the DC universe very nicely once he's used well. I think the design is beautiful, so credit to Zack Snyder for the way Deathstroke looks on this. And I think if they gave this character to Ben Affleck's Batman to be able to utilise, I think we could certainly see one of the best fight scenes that's ever been choreographed on film between Batman and Deathstroke. Not to mention, the rumour for Batman, for Ben Affleck's Batman I should say, is a TV series or a sequence of movies that will incorporate some of the villains around. I would love to see that. But here's 3 villains that are seemingly returning for Justice League, and I'm very excited by this. I know an awful lot of people, certainly in the media, the blue check marks, seem to not like the Justice League or Zack Snyder. I'm unsure as to why. I think I have a couple of reasons why I think they are. But I think ultimately these are movies that I really enjoy, and I'm very much so excited by, particularly with these 3 characters returning. I think these 3 characters didn't really get their dues in the first couple of movies, and I think ultimately we're going to see it now. These are 3 very important characters: Lex Luthor, Joker, Deathstroke, and they have wide-ranging repercussions in the DC universe. There's also rumours as well too of Henry Cavill being given an option to have multiple movies and or a TV series. I think that HBO, once they keep the stuff well written and pioneered by Zack Snyder, this universe will be fine. The minute this stuff goes off the rails is when you start handing projects to other people and Zack Snyder's not overlooking it. For example, Birds of Prey. For example, what happens at David Ayer's Suicide Squad. So I'm very excited to see what happens with these 3 characters. I mean, imagine these guys teaming up with Orm, Ocean Master, with Black Manta. Oh my god, the Injustice League, you could have a very, very interesting movie, or you could have an interesting TV series where these guys all team up. I'd be very much so interested in seeing that. Anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. Let me know what you think below. Are you excited to see these characters returning, or do you think that this might be kind of a farewell venture for these 3 guys, that they're just re-signing, quick cameo, and then it's out? Do you think that AT&T are going to persist with this universe, given that the Snyder Cut was widely wanted. It's been successful. There's an awful lot of people that have watched the trailer, for example, that shows how many people want it. Or do you think that this is something that maybe isn't something that's your cup of tea at the moment? Do you not fancy this? What do you think about these 3 re-signings? Do you think that this is a statement of intent? And do you think that there is a part of these actors that all feel a bit of pride, that they want to go and show the best version of that character that they can, and certainly make their mark and make their stamp for the future? Let me know what you think. I've also created a Facebook group. It's called Ninja Night. If you'd like to join me over there, I will be posting videos there, and I also will be chatting around there. I'm at Twitter at _Ninja Night. If you'd like to hit me up there and follow me there, that would be great. And thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Smash the like button, smash that share button, and subscribe to that channel and hit that bell up at the top right hand corner for notifications. Thank you and good luck.